Hi guys, welcome to my channel Shiva's Tech Hub. So in this session we will be looking at the various math functions that are present in Java. So basically math functions, as the name itself indicates, it is used to perform the mathematical task on the numbers. So the below are some of the mathematical functions that are present in Java. So the first function is max, that is used to find out the biggest of two numbers. And the second function is minimum or min. So it is used to find out the smallest of two numbers. And the third function is sqrt of x. It is used to find out the square root of a given number. So for example, let us consider what actually is a square root. So for example, square root in math is represented by this particular format. So for example, if we pass x value as 4, then the square root of 4 becomes 2. So this will be printed in the output. Then next we will be looking at the absolute function or ABS of a value x. So for example, if you pass the negative value, like absolute of x will return you with the positive value of that particular given number. So for example, in this case, I am passing the x value as minus 1.5. So whenever you use absolute function, it will return you with the positive of that particular number. So that is what is absolute. Now, when it comes to power or POW of x comma y, so it will raise one x number to the power of y. So that is how it will work. So for example, x value is 2. Then if we consider y value is equal to 3, then power of 2 comma 3. So it will print you with 8, right? So this is how it will work, the power function. Then we will be looking at cube root. So cube root is nothing but it will find you with the cube root of a given particular number. So the cube root can be written in math in this particular format. So for example, cube root of 9. So it should be printed with 3. So that is how the cube root works. Now the next function is ceil function, that is used to get the upper bound of a given value, given rational number or a fraction number. So for example, let us consider ceil of 4.5. So the output will be printed as 5.0. So this is what the ceil function does. And the floor function works the other way. So for example, floor of 4.5, the same number, it will return you with 4. So that is the difference between ceil function and the floor function. It will return you with the upper bound, whereas this will return you with the lower bound. And this random function is used to calculate or print the random number within a given range. So for example, we want to find out the random number between 1 to 100. So first time whenever you execute this particular function, it will return you with, for example, 56. Then it will return you with 65. Then it can return you with 97. In this way, so based on the range specified, so it will return you with a random number that is present within that particular range. So this is how the math functions in Java works. Okay, so let us understand the various math functions that are present in Java along with the programming example. So let me take few variables to supply it to the math functions. So I am considering x value as 4 and y value as 9, and let me take another value, for example, to find out the cube root, and let me take one more value, right? So equal to 2.5. So some sample values I'm taking it. So let me convert this. Okay, so these are a few values which I have taken. So let me write down the different math functions. So For example, maximum of two numbers. So I want to compare the maximum of x and y. So you can do it for double data type, float data type, integer as well as long data type. So here I am taking the integer data type for comparison. So let me compare x and y. So the maximum of two numbers is y, right? So y should be printed. So the value of y is being printed. So now let us check for the second math function, that is min. It is used to find out the minimum of two numbers. So the same variables I will be taking it, x and y. So the minimum of x and y is nothing but x. So 4 should be printed. So that is the expectation. So 4 is being printed. Now let us consider the next function, that is square root. So sqrt. So sqrt of double. So basically, even you can take the integer value. So if you want to cast the result, then you can do it by adding int. So for example, I want to take the square root of a given number x. So since it is accepting double, so the result will be printed in the double format, like in the decimal format. So let us check. So 2.0. So square root of 4 is nothing but 2.0. If you want to print it in the integer format, you can do it by specifying the casting, right? So run as Java application. So 2 is being printed. So next we'll be looking at the function called as cuberoot. So math dot cbrt of so double value. So cube root, for example, let me take the integer value. So it will be printed in the rational format or the double format. If you want to convert it into the integer format, then you can do it in this particular format. So for example, cube root of 27 is nothing but a 3. So what it will calculate? 3 into 3 into 3. That is 27, or 27 it will divide it by 3. So run as 3. 3 is being printed. So this is the cube root of z, which is cube root of 27. Then next we'll be looking at the function called as ceil. So ceil, as I said, it will return you with the upper bound of a given number. So for example, ceil of, you can specify the value b in this case. So ceil of b is nothing but 2.5. The expectation is 3. So let me run it. So 3 is being printed. Like it will print the upper bound. Now let us consider the same example, but this time I will be using floor for calculation. So it will return you with the lower bound, like 2.5. The lower bound of 2.5 is nothing but 2. So 2 should be printed, right? 2 is being printed. Then the next function is power or POW function. So math dot. So as I said, it will take two parameters. One is x, for example, if you want to raise 4 to the power of 9 or 9 to the power of 4, you can do that, right? So let me print it. So it will print 9 into 9 into 9 into 9. So 9 power 4. So this will be the output. The same thing, if you want to cast it and print it as an integer value, you can do it, right? So this is what it is. So this is the value 9 into 9 into 9 into 9, 81 into 9, then the resultant into 9. So 6561 is what you will be getting it. So this is power. Now let us consider generating a random number. So there is a formula for generating a random number. So that is, for example, if you want to generate a random number between 1 to 100, then you can use this particular function, random. Then you need to close these brackets, right? So this math dot random, you need to write it under parentheses. Then you need to cast, because we need to generate an integer value. Then if you want to generate it from 1 to 100, then the formula is into 101. You need to multiply this by 101. So what it does, it will generate a random number between 1 and 101. So let us check it. See, it has printed a value 0. For example, let us consider 001. Okay, every time. Okay, so I have made some modifications to the random function. Now let us check. See, it has printed the random number between 1 and 1000. So for example, I want to print the random number between 1 and 10, right? Including 10. So I can do it this way. So it has printed the random number between 1 and 10. So this is how the random function works. So this is how. So let us also try to understand the resultant. So first what we have done is maximum. So we have calculated the maximum of two numbers. Then we have calculated the minimum of two numbers. So this is maximum. So this is the maximum of two numbers and this is the minimum of two numbers. And this is the square root of 4, sqrt of 4, and this is the cube root cbrt of 27. Then this is the ceil value of 2.5, and this is the floor value of 2.5, and this is nothing but power of for example 9 raised to the power of 4, so which will calculate 9 into 9 into 9 into 9 4 times, right? So then the last function is random number. So we have generated it from 1 to 10, right? So 9 is printed in the output. So if you specify it 101, then it will be printed between 1 to 100. If you specify 1001, then the random number will be printed between 1 and 1000. So this is how the math functions in Java work.